Okay, now, okay. My name is Valerie Leonard. I am the founder of nonprofit Utopia, and we are here today working with some of our participants in the R3 Capacity Building and Beyond program. This is our mastermind group, and we're going to be speaking with various people today. They're going to let us know what their progress is. Just so you know, our R3 program is designed for people who want to learn how to develop or strengthen an existing program that qualifies for state funding through an R3 program. And this funding can be used for anti-violence, things like prisoner reentry, economic development, youth development, and also to develop legal services. And we're going to be speaking with Ruby Taylor today. Ruby is the executive director for Taproot, and she's going to be sharing her progress on her leadership assessment program. All right, so Ruby, without further ado, let her rip.
Good morning. Yes, I had completed the Leadership as Fit. It's a tool to assess leadership capacity. So I'll just go through how I responded to each of the statements.
Okay, and could you read the little blurb that they have at the beginning so people who are not with us can know what it is you're responding to?
Sure. So it says assess your capacity. Select one or two best answers to each question below. If all choices are equally appealing, leave it blank.
Okay, and even before that, the Leadership is Fit tool, so people can know. And I do apologize, you guys. We did not practice this. You know, we're very spontaneous here, so I'm sorry if I'm putting you on the spot, Ruby.
Okay. Leadership is Fit, a tool to assess leadership capacity. And it goes on to say some leaders succeed where others fail. Others succeed in one environment and fail miserably in another. In even more perplexing cases, the same leader can be perfect for an organization one year and woefully incompetent the next. If you see leadership as some absolute combination of skills and abilities, then these situations would seem to be impossible. On the other hand, if you understand the complex dynamics of human systems, you see effective leadership in terms of fit. An effective leader must respond to the needs of staff, stockholders, environment, competitors, market forces, customer demands, and all other factors that collude in complicated ways to determine organizational and individual success. Good leaders co-evolve with their environments. They are structured and demanding when the need arises, and they shift just as easily into freewheeling exploration as conditions change. The key success factor is not absolute. It depends on the fit with the circumstances and the flexibility to shift when the circumstances shift. Human system dynamics help you see and influence these complex patterns of co-evolutionary success. The Leadership as Fit tool reflects a particular leader's preferences along a leadership continuum. The two ends of the continuum are described below.
Okay, so thank you. So that gives us a little bit, and basically the continuum is, you know, there's some people who are extreme control people. They do better in an environment that is extremely structured. The other end would be what some of us would call chaos. There's absolutely no structure. So given that, Ruby, you assessed your fit, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so generally, what would you say, you know, just overall, what were some of the things that you found? What were some of the patterns that you found?
Well, I kind of fit in between traditional leadership a traditional leadership perspective and a complex adaptive leadership perspective. So I'm somewhere in between those two. I thought that maybe I would fit more towards the traditional leadership perspective. But I have learned to evolve over the years.
Yes.
As it says. So if I would just go back and just look at some of the my responses, the first one was when I worked with my boss, my boss would be our board of directors.
Right.
I chose B, shape expectation for outcomes, because that's what I'm looking at usually when we're talking about programs. What would we want to be the outcome? What would we be expecting as a result of this particular program? So that's the angle that I would come from. And then it goes on to ask about beginning a project. When I begin a project, I chose B, begin with a clear plan, but I'm willing to change over time. Because I found that sometimes you can have a wonderful plan, but depending on how things start to pan out as you move forward with a particular program, sometimes you have to make some adjustments, you have to make some changes, instead of being very rigid, in terms of the way that the program is going to be implemented. I try my best though to stick to whatever plans were made in the beginning, but sometimes those plans, sometimes you find out they become unrealistic. Okay, and so sometimes you just have to make some adjustments.
Now, can I stop you there?
Sure.
And when I say stop, not necessarily stopping with the discussion on this particular tool, but it's something you said that really struck out. Sometimes we can be so wedded to a plan. We tell our funders, we tell our community XYZ. We're going to do XYZ. We have this goal. And then we see that things are shifting around us, right? And sometimes there's a temptation to say, well, since we told the funders and since we told the community we're going to do ABC, the environment, is different now, and we're still going to stick with our plans. How do you, I guess, communicate to people who were expecting you to do ABC? You see that things are different where ABC can't be achieved or it doesn't make sense to try to go that way. What are some of the effective ways that you can communicate that we're going to be doing things a little bit differently and not lose your money, not lose confidence from people in the community?
Well, one thing I've found over the years is it's so important to keep in contact with your funders. And so some funders, they may set up a reporting period. And that's a good time to report and to share if there are any changes or anything. Like for instance, one of our funders, we have monthly meetings. So that's a time, even though our reports are due quarterly, let me go back. Our reports are due monthly. But then in terms of, in addition to the reporting, there are the opportunities for us to meet with our program monitor, so to speak. And that's a good time I found to share what some of the changes might be, instead of trying to hold back, just to be upfront and just say, we found out that this particular whatever plan we had is just not panning out, and so we've made these particular adjustments, or we want to make these adjustments, or is it okay if we make these adjustments?
Right, depending on the funder and the circumstance, I guess.
Right, absolutely. So for me, that's been helpful.
Okay.
Just to be upfront and say, you know, we're shifting in this direction for this particular reason.
Right. That way you're not caught at the end of the funding period, one, in a situation where you didn't meet your goals, right? Or two, it looks like you accept the money for one thing and did something else. So that that ongoing communication is really important.
Absolutely.